Let's say we have this simple scenario, a to-do application, and we are going to deploy it using Linux containers. And for this, we are going to have a development environment of .NET Core application and that manage totals and a unit test. And also, we are going to use Docker Compose to create the containers, one container for SQL Server and the other for the web application. After this, we need to implement the CICD workflow that will work on when we push the code to some environment. It's going to run the unit tests and it's going to deploy our containers as container instances, our images to container instances. In this case, it's Azure container instance. So if we look at our dev environment, we have a Visual Studio solution with web application project. We have dev environment variables, and we have Docker desktop as our local deployment environment. And it has two images, one for SQL Server and the other for the web application. And they work together inside Docker Compose using networking. So we can have a look at this on Visual Studio and on Docker. Here is our simple web application with unit tests, and do the we started the debugging using Docker Compose. And let's have a look at Docker. Here we can see Docker Compose has two images, one for the database server, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server deployed on Linux container, and the other for our web application that's also deployed on Linux container. See if the web application is working. Here is our web application working, and we have todo controller with basic for root operations endpoints. Let's have a look at our GitHub actions and workflow. And for when the action is kicked by the environment we want to deploy for, it's going to make a build for the web application. Then it's going to run unit tests. And if these unit tests are successful, it's going to replace the environment variables and it's going to create a Docker image with a new tag for this commit or this push. And it's going to push this new image with a new tag for the container registry. In this case, we are using Azure. And it's going to deploy the new image into container instance, and in this case it's Azure container instances. So let's see how this going to work in action. Let's say we change the code for adding this test get endpoint. We're going to have the name um, test get. We're going to commit our changes and see how the GitOps working for it. I'm going to push. You can see that the first workflow is kicked and is going to make the build and run the unit tests. And if successful, it's going to go for the next workflow. So it looks like the GitHub workflows are working fine. This one build and test applications, the other one changed the variables, created the Docker image, and pushed to registry, container registry. If we look at the container registry for Azure, and we have um, we have this repository for this particular application, and we can see that a new version or a new tag has been image with a new tag has been pushed to this registry, and also our um, Azure application. Um, Previously, it was having these four endpoints, and when we see the new published application, it should have now the additional endpoints that we just added with the name test-get. Yes, we have the new endpoint added, built with GitHub and published using the GitOps to Azure container instance. And thank you.